That's incorrect. You're so incorrect.
All right, so I'm going to show you the answers up here. Please take a minute, check and see if we agree or not. Right there. Please check your answers, and be happy to take any questions you might have. If we seem to disagree and you want to see a few steps shown, you're welcome to ask, and I'll investigate a little bit. I'm really hoping that as you've gone through the week, maybe you've seen a little improvement. Feel like you're getting ready for our DMR quiz tomorrow. Any questions? Pretty proud right now. Got a 20 up here, $20. It's $20. It's 21. 25. All right, so there's no questions. No, there is, yeah. Maybe. Number one? Number one, correct? Yeah, for sure. Okay, so with number one, looking at it from an order of operations perspective, I can see that it's all addition. And so I'm going to go from left to right. And maybe a, do I want to do it that way? It's going to be pretty large. So I'll just give you a kind of an illustration here with a number line. So let's say that here is 0 right here. The way that you might think about this is moving left and right on the number line. So the first number I come to is 9, and that's positive 9, so that would be moving 9 to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm over there at 9. Then I add negative 13, so it means I need to move back to the left, 13. So that's going to look like, I already know this is 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'd go 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, how many spaces to the left of 0 am I now? So that'd be negative 4 over there. Here's where this one's going to get a little bit tough because negative 18 is a fairly large negative number. If I had negative 18, that means from where I am right now at negative 4, I need to go 18 to the left. I need to go left again. So it's going to be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And this is where, probably the number line gets tough when these numbers get bigger than just like plus or minus 10 or so, something like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back to the right 14 because I'm adding 14. So I got to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I hope I didn't get off too far there. And then theoretically what you do is you just count the bounces. And you end up at whatever it was, negative 8, I think. And so, so I really recommend that we get to a place where we maybe use more of the concepts than a number line because these numbers get big. It's tough to count all these different little spots. Does that make sense? Is it obvious why it's negative? I want to make sure that you could see that, and then hopefully we could get everything counted up correctly to get to the right spot. Okay. Anybody else? Question on any of that? Okay, so I'd like to just really briefly talk about tomorrow and what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So if you would, just look up at the screen here. So tomorrow, when you come to class, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our DMR quiz 2, and that's going to be based on that, right? We've been practicing that all week, so tomorrow it's going to look just like this on your DMR, but it'll be a quiz. Make sense? Kind of like last week. Okay. And then number 2, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be working a little bit with fractions. adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, just like how do you work with fractions. Again, very much of a pre-algebra thing, but something we want to be good at, something we need to be good at to move forward in our class. And then the last thing we're going to do tomorrow, before we wrap things up for the week, is going to be something actually new. We haven't done one of these yet. It's going to be Concept Quiz 1. So I wanted to take just a minute and talk to you about what that is, okay? So Concept Quiz 1, our concept quizzes are going to be focused on one pretty narrow skill, one very narrow concept. So tomorrow's Concept Quiz 1 is on evaluation, finding the value of something. So this would be adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, all that stuff. Then I would include order of ops in there too, your PEMDAS. So no fractions in there, of course, but all the stuff we've been working on with order of operations, the things we did yesterday, some of the things we'll continue to practice today, that's going to be on that Concept Quiz 1 tomorrow. Okay? Any questions so far? So just as kind of a heads up, I guess. So DMR quizzes, because we practiced them all week, it's you take it and you're done. However, listen up, gentlemen. Concept Quiz 1, I'll try to remind you, all of you, of this a lot. Concept Quiz 1, Concept Quiz 2, if it's a concept quiz, these can be retried. Do you remember from day 1 I told you that on the very first day? Concept quizzes can be retried if you are dissatisfied with how you did. And so when I hand those back to you later on next week, you'll kind of see the grading structure and how all that works. But I just want to let you know ahead of time that you might get that concept quiz, you might see it in the grade book later on and think, oh man, I'm not very happy with that. Remember, as long as you're eligible to retry those, you can retry those as many times as you want. Like if you want to do 10 retries to get to where you understand and do well, that's fine. Hopefully it doesn't take that many, but you can do that. We'll help you out. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so today, really, honestly, is about practicing, and it's going to really be practicing for your Concept Quiz 1 tomorrow. So if you would, flip ahead in your packet, and we've got a handful of examples that I want to do. Looks like there's a total of 6 of them. We'll just kind of see how it's going. We might do a little bit of work at the board like we did yesterday. But for now, if you would, stay at your seats, and let's just see how this first one goes. Number 1 says, evaluate that expression. It's got all kinds of stuff going on. If x equals -2 and y equals 3. So with your partners there at your table, please take a minute and try that out. Think of this as maybe a little warm-up from yesterday. From a answer and a solution perspective. So like I mentioned yesterday, we are going to replace all of the variables with empty parentheses to start off with. So it's going to be negative parentheses plus 3 parentheses over parentheses minus all this other stuff parentheses squared. So that would be my first step, just a bunch of blank spots inside the parentheses. And then we're going to drop in all of my values. So it's going to be -2 there, 3 there, -2 there and 3 there, -2 and 3. And once you get to this point, we're going to follow order of ops. We're going to follow order of ops. Do y'all see the work to be done inside the parentheses there? Yes? Okay. So I would say that that's here on the end. So -6 inside the parentheses there. We're going to be squaring that. And then if you wanted to do some of these other terms as we're going, I think that'd be fine. What do you guys think about this right here? What's this going to turn out to be when you simplify that first part? Isn't it going to be +6? Yes. Because the negative of -2 times 3 is going to be a positive. So it's going to be +6 plus, and this would be maybe -6 over 3, something like that. Kind of the first round of some order of ops thoughts. And then I would say I'll do my exponent next. What is -6 inside the parentheses squared? 36. And it's positive, so it'll be minus that. This, of course, is -2, and that's still 6. So it'd be 6 plus -2 minus 36. All we have to do now is get things added up. So this would be 4. 6 plus -2 is 4 minus 36. I'm getting a final value of -32. Negative 32. Okay, you got it. Yep.
Boom.
Okay, so what do y'all think? Gave you plenty of time to kind of ponder that and discuss. I know that there were some answers that kind of moved around because you were discussing, so that's great. Do you have any questions on what I put up there? Or maybe some of the discussions you had? All right, fair enough. Let's see how we do with 2. Why don't you try number 2? Which is right there. So number 3. You got to use parentheses on this one. This is one of the tough ones for sure.
Really small ones.
You guys want some
I'm really fine with one.
So fast.
Wait, I don't know how to do this though. Wait, we just did that. No, I still don't know how to do this. Wait,
You did what? Let's see here. You did it on your left. Oh, gotcha. Let me I don't have the answer.
So it would be
No, you got some, like the 2 makes sense. The 2 you have on there.
oh wait.
Okay.
That's right now. How did you do that so fast?
Sasha, make sure you use parentheses on all of your variables, like that negative 3 you got there.
just make it a
Make sure
positive.
that's got parentheses.
See, I got this stupid name.
4 by 1, and then that'd be 4.
So this negative 3 should be in parentheses like
It'd be
this.
9
Wait, I don't know how to
minus
think of it. Oh wait, it's in
Should be
print.
9
Oh,
minus
so
8, right?
Any variables like this,
does that mean that
it's going to be positive. And the other thing is, I think this is just maybe an oversight. It's negative b
Why would
plus,
9 minus 8?
so there should be a plus there and there.
Can you check my I think it's right. Oh wait. That's 8. Wait, then what do you this?
Really very similar stuff.
Negative 8, yeah, let's do that.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, plus square root. So it's really 3 plus
And then you get 9. The square root of this.
Then what's the square root of? Because we got 17 and that's not even.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got, but the 9
So we
isn't
have
big.
officially
Because since you put the parentheses, yeah.
so
So then it would be 1.
one.
But that can't really be divided.
But then I think it's just
Okay.
you get 2. I don't know.
That would be 4, right?
Oh, wait, yeah, I can. We have to go on your sister here today.
Very encouraging.
I don't know how
Don't lose your square root. Square root should be over all that.
Wait, so wait, what's the square root of my glasses?
So what's the square root of what?
The square root of, I got 2.
Square root is you're asking yourself what number times itself.
So then it would be 4 over 2.
So this is basically 3 plus 1,
What'd you get?
2.
Okay.
4, and then we still have over this, right?
I just wish I could. And I've played longer, and I have like so many
Of course, of course. I am seeing some really quality work.
Man, I have No, I like wanted to make club at 6 days a week, but I made BLE. So it's every day a week. No, we practice every day.
That will be
We have
just positive because 9 minus 8 is
and I was like, and then we have to do the it's like shout. It's Yeah, girls. But don't, is it girls tennis starting practice?
I don't think that's right, but
I think it is. I think it's right, and we are fantastic at it.
I think it's right too, because everyone else says that.
Yeah. Let's hope.
I'm gonna get lost right there.
Nine.
I hate when but how did it restart? Never mind.
-3 times -3 is negative positive 9.
Yeah.
How was theater production today, or do you not have it?
I did not have it.
Good.
Good.
And Kylie was freaking out yesterday. She was I'm in here with all of the theater nerds. I was like, that sucks.
They are
Heritage Hills.
interesting. All the guys on there have to be gay. They just have to. They act. They do not act like normal boys. I have brothers. They don't act like them at all.
How old is your brother?
20.
Actually,
That's a big age difference.
such a weird.
What is it, like 8 years?
She bullied a
6.
her older
So I guess it's not that weird.
No, but it's kind of weird.
Like, is he in college and everything?
Because I just got into high school. I just was in high school. He's going on 3rd year of college.
Michael's in back.
Oh yeah, I guess that
Did
is.
you like know the college of this?
Not too bad.
Did you like
However,
Mike?
when I was in kindergarten, that was the only time I was able to see him. Because he was in 6th grade. And I was there. That did not look right. I'm not a
I don't think any of the songs. How am I supposed to draw it? My friend draws smiley faces like.
That's such a.
I'm gonna come and try.
I know. Wait, that's a good turn.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, not like that.
I had a turtle at the
Yeah, she goes. Which is kind of cute, but it's kind of
I fishes.
like the nose is like
Yeah.
like that.
Draw my smile.
Yes.
That's all one big location right there.
Turn off straight. I would always go like.
That one or
Yeah, I know.
that one.
Oh, my sister goes.
Yeah.
That's like not right. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'd always go
But
like.
then I did this. Oh yeah. And you like start adding things to it. It's maybe like super display really
It's like the standard.
Does that make sense? So I feel like there's just lots of little details. And I don't feel like a big thing.
I'd rather my vegetable like extra because actually
If you got like super good practice,
Oh,
I just wish I could like write like in like a journal.
like I always get
Say, my name is released.
Like showing a couple of steps on clean. Okay. I think that's a good habit.
So now it's like
All right, the answer to this one should be 2. We comfortable with that? I've seen a bunch of 2s. 2. Yes, I did. Did you get 2? Yes, you got 2. Okay, cool. All right, let's run through maybe 1 or 2 more. Would you all try number 1 on the second practice? It's right there at the top.
all of it's frozen.
Oh, that's a problem. Okay, so number 1 we're working on. Please do the one at the top. Number 1. Okay, let's be moving on to this one, the one at the top.
This would be. We're doing number 2 now? Okay, so this is not.
Don't forget, good use of parentheses will often make the difference.
That's definitely 25.
So negative 2 cubed is not 16.
Oh, no.
That's negative 2 to the 4th. Negative 2 to the 4th is 16. So what do you think negative 2 to the 3rd would be?
6?
That's 2 times 3. I want to do negative 2 times negative 2.
So wouldn't it be like negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2?
Yeah,
So negative 6, negative 8.
negative 8.
Oh, I get it now.
Negative
Thank
8.
My father saw that.
Wait, but then why is it a negative 8? Because last time when I did that, it was a positive.
Right, so we were squaring it then.
That's just not.
So a cube, you're doing a negative, think of it like this, you're doing a negative times a negative, which would be a positive, times another negative, negative. So negative 2 cubed. Negative 2 cubed is not 4. It's a little different, yeah. How we doing?
Good. I got my parentheses.
What's that negative 5 at the very start? You both have that negative 5. I'm kind of curious.
It says.
Oh, we're doing number 1. We're doing number 1. We're doing number 1. Yes, we are.
Oh.
We're doing number 1. I was actually, I hate to say it, but I was actually going to skip it and maybe try one like we just did a minute ago because there was a little bit of struggle with that other one. Oh, you know what? You've gone out of order of operations. This is 3 times this, and you did negative 2 minus 3 before you did the multiplication. So do the work in the parentheses first. I agree with you that this is 9. I do not agree with you that this is 8. This should be negative 8. Well, we haven't done the absolute values yet.
Oh, yeah, at the end?
Yeah, you have to do the work inside first. Right? So get the absolute values back in there. They're still there. And then so then you still have this negative 2 minus 3. Keep that in there, Oliver. They're a little dry. Go ahead and write the negative 2 minus 3. Okay, now let's finish the work inside the parentheses. What's negative 8 plus 9? 1. So what's the absolute value of 1? 1. And then isn't it 3 times whatever that is? So I'd write negative 2 minus 3 times 1.
Huh? So that would be,
The same?
What do you mean, just the same? Yep, negative 2 minus 3, yeah, because 3 times 1 is 3. And then what's your last value? There you go. There you go. All right. Interesting. I've got. Okay. So you're going out of order of operations here. What's the operation between this and this? Is it negative? Like, what if it's just like a parentheses butted up against it, like a parentheses? What does that mean? Multiply, yeah. And so what you did, I think it looks like, is you did negative 2 minus 3 before you did this multiplication. Now, I agree with you that negative 8 plus 9 is 1, and the absolute value of 1 is 1. Then it almost looks, you know what? It almost looks like you did negative 5 plus 1. That's where I'm assuming you got this, right? But it should be this times that.
So then negative 5.
And so negative 5 should be the right answer.
You got it right.
But still, she did show some really good steps there. Even still, you still went out of order of operations, right? You went left to right instead of order of ops.
Right.
So avoid the temptation going left to right. I mean, we want to, but try to avoid that.
All right. Next time.
All right. I feel like we're making progress. This is so good. Negative 5 is the right answer.
All right.
You guys are getting this. I'm seeing some really quality work. So one thing to mention to you, Kate, you got the right answer. However, you went out of order of operations. You did -2 minus 3 before you did this multiplication. You lucked out because the difference here is 1. If this difference had been anything other than 1, you would have got the wrong answer. So is this you? This is you? Okay. So make sure that you would like do all the order of operations in here. Here's what it should look like. Well, I'll just show you right here. So notice how I'm leaving this -2 minus 3 to the very end. I'm doing all this work in here. I finally get a 1, then I multiply, then I finally add. So be careful with that order of operations. Same thing. You all so
I
avoid.
waited, but I did it in my head,
Be careful. Like the communication up there tells me that you went out of order of operations. So be super careful. Don't just go left to right.
Okay.
Like I would say, you're not going to go left to right until the very, very, very end.
Yeah.
Right? So be careful with that. Be careful with that. Man, a lot of you did this. Hey guys, this was probably, I wish I would have done a little bit of a different example here, because you guys got the right answer, but you screwed up the order of operations. You sure did. So here, check this out. Here's the correct order of ops. Notice how you guys just did -2 minus 3 like right off the bat. The problem with that is what is, check this out, what's happening
You have to
between...
multiply 3.
Yes, exactly. So if the stuff inside here, if that had been anything other than 1, you would have gotten the wrong answer.
Oh, really?
Right? So the fact that that was a 1 kind of was your saving grace on getting to the right answer, but I just don't want you to think that this was okay, because it's really not. It's the order of operations we need to be
So
really careful
always
of.
kind of put that down and do like the other stuff.
Yeah, we won't do we won't be adding anything or subtracting anything until the very, very end.
All right.
Okay.
As far as like over the course of the whole question. Okay.
Wait, so does this like absolute value symbols, do those count as
It's like a parentheses, it's a
It
grouping
counts?
symbol. Yep, you'll do all the work
So
inside
is
first.
parentheses, does it count as like all grouping symbols?
Yeah, brackets, parentheses, absolute values, square roots, like on that other one we did.
All right.
All right, we've got one last one to do. Here we go. We'll finish with one of these again. We'll see how you do. Be very careful, please, with number 3. There might be some extras up here. Let's see.
Oh yeah, we have some extras. Okay, never mind.
Thank you. All right, let's make this a good finish. Please be trying number 3. Number 3 up there. We got about 4 minutes left, so we might run into a little bit of a time issue, but
That's fine.
same as what we did before, some different numbers.
Minus 1.
Oh,
Wait, would you do this?
Yeah, so it would be, this is 25. So I do the all times 4. Whenever I see 4 squared, I want to do 8. Wait, why do you have it?
Wait, because I got 25 minus 4.
I messed up. This is 29. Yeah, I just like
Okay. So you would do 6 times.
Yeah, and it's 25.
This could be either way. This could be 2.
And then y.
Negative 5 minus 1. What's
Negative 5 1.
Wait, so that's 1.
No.
Over.
Negative 5 minus 1. That was at negative.
Okay, I got over 2. Minus this. And then I have to bring that into it. So how do you bring this?
You just bring it down. So,
over.
negative you just negative 5.
Keep it over.
Pretend there's like a 1 right now. You see negative, put a 1 there, so that's negative 1.
There we go. That took me a second.
Minus 1, that equals either negative 4 or it's either negative 4 or
How do you say negative? Negativo.
so it could be negative 2 or negative 3. Spanish.
Spanish. I don't know it.
That's what I
Yeah, my mom and my grandma just speak Spanish, and then they yell at me because I don't know how to speak Spanish.
But like my mom's full classes speak Spanish. Even the ones from
My entire mom's side, so my mom is the youngest of 7.
So good. These are like some of the tougher examples out there. -3.
Did you get it right?
-3. Yes.
Sweet
Everything is
cheese.
great. It's always so hard to
Thanks.
do.
Wait, is that it, or are we doing one more? Okay.
Hey guys, this is awesome. -3.
Yeah, I like the drama.
Basically, a square root is what number times itself. So you're basically saying, look at
Just like long division.
so like, let's say this was a square root. You say what number times itself.
I do not like
So you just ask them. All right. Great job. The answer to that one was -3, which I think just about everybody arrived at eventually. It's a great job. I will see you tomorrow for your DMR quiz and your concept quiz.